I need you to stop me if you've heard this one before, but Sean Payton was right again. And that's actually a phrase I don't think we are ever going to get tired of hearing during the Sean Payton reign, the Sean Payton era, because his draft strategy, his free agent building strategy is already paying massive dividends as we look at actual disasters playing out in a couple of franchises just around us who are vying for playoff spots. You see Sean Payton's team building strategy in diametric opposition to how these other teams are building, and it's already paying off. We're breaking that down and more in the video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben, and it helps me and that algorithm out a ton. If you like the Broncos, would you smash that like and subscribe button for me? So we're going to push back on this notion, and I'm never going to start a fight with Respect My Cause because I've seen him just like single-handedly bury guys like Benjamin Albright. So don't come at me, man. But I'm going to push back on this notion that we did not do enough this offseason to build around Bo Nix, or that we failed getting this team ready for Bo Nix, because we're already seeing massive dividends in how Sean Payton chose to build around this team. He did some very interesting and unconventional things, and you're going to see how they pay off in just a second. One of the things that he did this year as he was going to the draft is he intentionally avoided any player who jumped into the transfer portal to get NIL money. I think you hear a lot of college football people say that NIL is killing the sport and it makes players not love ball, and they're chasing money rather than team loyalty. And so while a lot of other teams looked past that, Sean Payton made it a very staunch point to say hey, no, we are going to get guys who are team first guys. He doubles down on that when he also drafted the most team captains of any other team in the NFL this year in the draft. You look at our first 3 picks in the draft, all team captains, all incredibly high character guys who could have chased the money, could have chased the bag and gone somewhere else, but prioritized finishing the job with the team that they went to. Sean Payton talks about each of our players that we bring into this system owe it to all of the rest of this team to stay young and hungry. And so I'm not going to bring in a diva. So when we hear people say oh, Sean Payton should have chased guys like a Deebo Samuel or a Stefon Diggs or gone out and got a Keenan Allen, Sean Payton is crystal clear in his resolve of I want a Boy Scout who can actually ball out, and that is exactly what he got. You look at several of our undrafted players, also team captains. I'm thinking Xavier Truss, the undrafted lineman we got. I'm thinking even our late round guy was a special teams captain. Q Robinson was a special teams captain. So he wants leaders in that building who are just going to continue the vision, because he is not a type of coach who's going to lord the culture over. He's trusting bringing in high character guys who carry out the culture for him, and it's going to already pay off. It already is paying off. So the first thing that we're seeing is we're seeing a report out of Chicago that the Bears and Ben Johnson is already coming down on Caleb Williams and saying bro, you cannot have this kind of body language as a leader. Caleb Williams was the most sacked quarterback in football last year. A lot of that is his own fault. Sean Payton said last year when he was evaluating quarterbacks who got sacked a lot in college tend to get sacked a lot in the NFL. So that was one of his evaluation points. A lot of people in the national media thought it was coping for us Broncos fans to be Sean Payton actually wanted Bo Nix over Caleb Williams. Well, now we're seeing that he actually did. He wasn't saying that in hindsight. And so the Bears are actually coaching Caleb Williams and saying, if you're going to be a leader, you can't have body language like that. That is not something you should be having to say to your franchise quarterback. It's you shouldn't have to tell your wife, hey, I need you to actually care about me. There's things you shouldn't have to say to people, and I love the fact that Sean Payton would never have to say that to Bo Nix. Bo Nix from the jump, I have never seen him hang his head. I've never seen him pout. I see him firing dudes up and carrying the culture on his own. And so that is just something that I absolutely love. Now, another thing that Sean Payton was absolutely right on, there were a lot of people dogging the Broncos that we did not go out and get Stefon Diggs to come in and be the wide receiver for Bo Nix. Now, when I watched some film of him and how quickly he recovered from his ACL injury, there's a little bit of me oh my goodness, look at how in shape he is. And then I remembered, dude, you couldn't get along with Josh Allen, and you're throwing your helmet on the sideline. You are making everything about you, and you're holding out from camp. You got kicked off out of a practice from your coach there. If you can't get along in Buffalo, that's really bad. He is an absolute diva, and it gets even worse. The Patriots started practice today. If you are serious about the Super Bowl, you should be there. Well, Stefon Diggs was not there, but a video of where he was actually came out, and he was on a boat. And this is a Adam Schefter tweet that goes out there. He was on a boat surrounded by women and an unidentified pink powdery substance. Now, I went to Thornton High School. I didn't know that illicit drugs were pink, but allegedly he was on a boat handing out stuff that you shouldn't be doing. And he shouldn't even be on a boat and putting a video out on social media. He should be at the practice, like helping his new second-year quarterback get better. And so, again, Sean Payton did not swing at Stefon Diggs. He's very clear, like, hey, these are the types of dudes I'm bringing in. I'm bringing in Pat Bryant, who I think is as talented as Michael Thomas, but he could have jumped ship in a year at Illinois. Instead, he stayed playing in Illinois with a quarterback that none of us can name. And you just see Vrabel, who's trying to lay down the gauntlet there with the New England Patriots, is furious about it. The fact that not only is he not there, but he's probably on a boat, allegedly handing out things that you shouldn't be handing out on a boat. So I think Sean Payton, again, he is truly batting 1,000. Let me know in the comments, like, what is one thing since Sean Payton has gotten to Denver that he's been wrong about? The only thing I can actually think about objectively was he had me like over the moon hyped about Lucas Kroll, and then Lucas Kroll didn't really pan out, and he wasn't the tight end that I thought he was going to be from some of the things that Sean Payton said. But other than that, I truly cannot think of Sean Payton's saying something that did not come true. Even just like the fact that we're taking a look here at some of the video coming out of Evan Ingram's private workouts that he was doing. Again, not a diva, a guy who's out there putting in the work already in the offseason. And the big question with him is, like, is he still going to have that explosive first step after some injuries last year? And you just see like tight end type route running that I don't know if I've ever seen route running like that from a tight end in Denver. Maybe like since Shannon Sharp. Obviously, we had Julius Thomas was a beast, but he was more of like a straight line jump ball type guy. And you see a shiftiness and wide receiver type footwork here out of a tight end who has like a wide receiver body. So this is going to be just phenomenal, but we are just seeing Sean Payton absolutely hit it out of the park with the types of guys that he did bring in. And while you can be a little upset that you didn't get a guy who's really fun to play with in Madden, I agree. It'd be amazing to have Stefon Diggs on my Madden team, but he's not the type of guy that I want in Bo Nix's locker room. And so respectfully, that's how I'm pushing back on that. Also getting, and this isn't like the stuff with Stefon Diggs isn't like new stuff that like Vrabel didn't see coming. Like even going back to like a video they made when he was playing with the Minnesota Vikings. Again, another time when he threw a temper tantrum and got kicked off of a team with the Vikings. Then he did the same thing with the Buffalo Bills. You see like they did a little social media video of like, hey, who's the last person in this locker room you want to date your sister? And while it was really funny that they all said Stefon Diggs, like that is a red flag. Like I'd let Bo Nix date my sister. In fact, I hope my sister gets divorced to her husband and then Bo Nix is my brother-in-law. Actually, I don't. I really love my brother-in-law, Nate. So you're just looking like how bad do the Patriots need Stefon Diggs so that Drake May doesn't have a sophomore slump? Like you're looking here as their first OTAs. These are their first rookie throws, literally of the first throws of the year there in New England. And you're seeing 2 drops in a row when you're not even wearing shoulder pads. There's not even defenders out there. You're not even running a route. And the wide receivers are dropping the first 2 passes. So Stefon Diggs needs to be there, and he's not. And I'm thrilled with the move Sean Payton made. He brought in high character guys. It is going to pay off for a very, very deep run for your Denver Broncos. Now, another thing that happened today that just made me want to trust certain national media sources less than I did even before is like, you got to be super careful who you're listening to when you're hearing about them, make predictions on what's going to happen for the Denver Broncos and what's noise and people just trying to dog a team and who don't really know and who actually knows. And I just thought this was absolutely hilarious watching here. This is I think this is the NFL Network or maybe ESPN. And this is Fox. And you see in this video here, Joy Taylor goes off on Aaron Rodgers and the fact that Aaron Rodgers is skipping the first day of Steelers OTAs. But the hilarious thing about this entire clip is she loses her mind. She's like, Aaron Rodgers, you need to be there. Like, you don't know any of your teammates. You don't know the team doctors. Well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't actually play for the Steelers. He's still a free agent. We don't even know if he's going to come back, but like she doesn't even know what team Aaron Rodgers is on. And then she'll come out and make a prediction like the Denver Broncos aren't even going to make the playoffs. And it's like, you don't even like you're making things up. And so every time I hype you up on a player, I hope you see that I'm like deeply throwing in research and data into that. And I'm not just like, doing stuff just for the clicks or, and she's really engaging when she's doing this, but you even just see like, her co-hosts on this show are kind of like trying not to laugh because I think they actually know that Aaron Rodgers doesn't play for the Steelers yet, but no one steps in and stops her. And that's sadly, that's like why more and more people are actually going to places like YouTube, because I think the national media has really gotten away from it, and it's more about how cool does it look, how much, how many cool special effects, and getting away from the data and the facts. So Broncos country, Sean Payton built this team the right way. He is batting as close to 1,000 as you can be, and that's why the Broncos are making a deep playoff run, and we have a 5-year window here that is going to be probably the funnest time to ever be a Broncos fan, and that's something we can all believe in. Come on. Joy Taylor would have made that shot.